Good morning, everybody. Welcome to our second Facebook Live video for National Crochet Month. And I'm going to show you, this is Christianna. I'm going to show you how to get started on an amigurumi. And I am here with Hannah because I broke our little arm that we put the iPad on. So Hannah's going to be filming my hands. So hopefully everybody will be able to see everything and let me know if you need me to show something again or if you can't hear me. But other than that, I think we're good to go. So amigurumi, and I just brought some of my basic guys here with me today, is a series of spirals. So you start in the round and then work your way out. But you never connect the circle, so that's what makes it a spiral. It just keeps going around and around and around. So like the kitty, I started at the top. Oh yeah, the lighting's a little wonky. There we go. Well, plus I decided to show something black so that doesn't show up.
Would you be able to hold this for 1 second? I'm going to move the light.
Sure. Okay, Hannah's going to move the light real quick, so if it looks a little funny right now.
That's not in your face. Is that okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. Alrighty. So the cats, I started at the top, did a spiral, worked my way down. So any amigurumi traditionally is going to be worked in a spiral, and it's going to utilize a single crochet stitch. The reason why we use single crochet as opposed to a taller stitch is when you're creating something that you're going to be putting stuffing on the inside, you need a more compact, tighter stitch so that the stuffing does not come out. So there's the kitty, and then my snowman similarly started at the top and worked the way down. And you know, and this yarn was actually gifted to me by one of my crochet students who is also a spinner, so this was just some bits and pieces left over from another project. So thanks, Carly. So there are two ways to start your amigurumis, and I'm going to show you both of them. The first one is what I would recommend for people who are just starting out with amigurumi and who have little to no experience. This way is a little bit simpler. So I'm going to start like I normally would. I'm going to create a slip knot, put my hook in there, and then I'm going to chain two. My first chain I want to make kind of loose, and then my second chain normal. So let's say my pattern says make 8 single crochets. So I'm going to go into that first chain and I'm going to make 8 single crochets. Is anybody saying hi yet, Hannah?
Mm-hmm.
Yay!
Escavaria says adorable, and Nancy says cute critters. Hey, Nancy.
Hi, Nancy. Yeah, I love amigurumi. It's one of my specialties, and yeah, it's just a lot of fun.
I think Echevarria. I'm sorry, I'm mispronouncing your name, which is inevitable.
Alrighty. So I don't think I have 8, but that's okay. I'm not going to make you guys sit there and watch me make 8 single crochets. So to create my spiral, I'm going to work into that first single crochet. So I'm not connecting like I would if I were just making a circle. Because I'm making a spiral, I just keep crocheting along. And you're probably thinking, okay, well, how do I know where my rounds begin and end? That's where I kind of cheat. Your pattern will typically tell you how many stitches to make in a round. I mark my first single crochet, so then that way I don't even have to count. So once you have your first round established, that's when you start increasing out to make it grow bigger. So typically your first round is going to be an increase in every stitch. So I'm doing 2 single crochets in every single crochet around. Times like this, I wish I was like Cami and was a faster crocheter.
So it looks sort of like knitting. Each stitch has sort of 2 legs, and then you're picking up both legs.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Hannah just asked me, you do pick up both loops of the stitch? So I'm working under, I call it the V because when you have it turned sideways, it kind of looks like V's stacked on top of each other. So I'm working under both legs of that V, and I'm doing 2 stitches in each stitch around. And then typically the next round, what they would have you do is do 1 single crochet, increase in the next stitch all the way around, and then the following round 2 single crochets, increase. So you're decreasing your number of increases every round. And then once you get the right number of stitches, you just work straight. So this is one way to get your project started. This is definitely the simpler of the 2 ways. However, the only drawback to using this particular way to get your amigurumi started is see how big of a hole I have right there. So I can tug on the tail and it will tighten a little bit, but not a lot. So that's the disadvantage to starting your amigurumis this way. The only way to really close that hole up is to weave your tail in around in the bottom and then pull tight. And even then, it may still have, excuse me, a little bit of a hole remaining in there. But see, as I'm weaving my tail in and pulling it, it is closing up. So that is kind of the beginner way of doing amigurumi. Now, there is another way called the magic ring.
Wow, this is what that woman was asking.
Yep, this is the magic ring. So I'm going to start with my tail off to my right, and I do apologize, lefties out there. I am incredibly right-handed. I'm going to grab the tail, and I'm going to wrap my working yarn around my pointer and middle finger, and then I pinch that loop with my left hand, pull my fingers out. I'm going to take my hook, put it through the ring, pull the working yarn through the ring, and then chain. So let's
do like a tightenable ring.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm going to go ahead and do a few single crochets. I'm not counting how many I'm doing. I apologize. So I work the single crochets into the ring, and then what you do is you take your tail and pull it and tighten it. So this way my center is pulled super, super tight, and I've got a better closure in there. And then I would work it just the same way as I did with my other guy. I'm going to single crochet into my first single crochet, thus creating a spiral and not a circle. And then I'm going to take my locking stitch marker and mark my first stitch. A safety pin will work too if you don't have locking stitch markers. And then I'm going to do my increases all the way around. So the benefit to the magic ring over working into your chain is you have the ability to tighten that quite a bit more. The downside to working with the magic ring is when you're first working into it, it is a little floppy and a little cumbersome. And again, too, if you want to get it really, really, really tight there in the center.
Hey, Dara.
Hi, Mom. Then you want to weave in your tail and really close that ring up. So I suggest doing this pretty quickly after you get your amigurumi started, just because the magic ring will continue to open up until you close it. So both ways of starting your amigurumi have their advantages and disadvantages. Honestly, my preferred method is the magic ring because I do have that ability to get that closed very, very tightly. So like if you look at it now, it's like it's not even there. It's super, super tight.
Is there a magic ring closing method or something?
A magic ring closing method, not to my knowledge, which there could be out there. I may have to research into it, but the way I do my amigurumis is just work into the magic ring, and then once I'm past that first round, pull it tight and get my tail woven in. So that's how I close that guy up. But any amigurumi, traditional amigurumi, is going to start that way. So even from the simple round shapes to even the more complicated shapes, like my little seahorsey here. He started right here at the bottom as a little round and then just worked our way up.
Oh my god. You should make him a sea dragon friend.
I do need to make him a friend. But that's how any amigurumi, traditional amigurumi, is going to start. It's going to start in a spiral, utilizing the single crochet stitch. Occasionally they will, if the critter has some sort of shaping like in the nose area, they'll add in some bigger stitches to make a muzzle. But what I have here are super, super simple ones that are just rounded. So I'm going to get rid of that needle there. So again, you increase in every stitch around on that first round, and then as you progress, the increases get further and further away. So that is how I start my amigurumis. And were there any questions out there, Hannah?
No questions, just a lot of enthusiasm.
Yay!
It says wonderful tips. Mom says hi. We have the Crochet Societe watching.
Oh, nice. Thank you guys for joining us this morning. And I highly, highly recommend playing with amigurumi. It's a lot of fun, and honestly, you can create anything from the super simple to definitely the more complicated. I've got some dragons upstairs that were definitely more complicated, but started the exact same way, just with the spiral and working my increases and decreases.
This makes it seem so much less intimidating to me, I have to say, which is a nice feeling.
So I don't know if the mic picked up Hannah, but she said that this makes it look a little less intimidating, which really amigurumi isn't all that intimidating. And if you want to get started with amigurumi, we do have the Toft kits here at the shop. I would recommend getting a level 1 kit. Or if you can go on Ravelry and just search amigurumi, I would start out with something simple like this that has kind of the figure 8 shape to it, because it has very limited shaping to it. So this is a great way to kind of dip your toe in the amigurumi ocean. But you're only limited by your imagination when it comes to these guys, and I love them so much, and I have so much fun making them.
Oh no.
And
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry?
I just flipped around for
Oh.
I was trying to zoom out.
And of course, once you get used to it, you can make little accessories for these guys. It's just like making a mini version of a hat for you. So, were there any more questions? Anything else I can answer?
Allison, hey Allison. I don't know why I'm waving, no one can see me.
Hannah's waving to Allison even though you can't see her.
I think I'm gonna have to make that sheep now.
The Toft one?
The Ballet of
Yeah.
sheep. Oh.
So that would be my recommendation. Ravelry is such an amazing resource for amigurumi. Any of the Toft kits too. The Edwards Menagerie books are by Carrie Lord, who is also the creator of Toft. So those are all amazing, amazing resources. And of course, at any time, if you guys have any questions about anything amigurumi, you can contact me and I would be more than happy to answer any questions. So thanks guys for joining us today, and we will see you next week when Andy is going to be teaching us a pineapple stitch. So that'll be lots of fun. Thank you. Have a great day.
Thanks, guys.